Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Just kind of waking up myself at the shop. Just got my inside tennis in and kind of looking through it. And the question of the day is right there. All right, guys. So before I get going, thank you everybody for supporting my black coffee morning habit. Sincerely appreciate it. As you guys, or some of you guys might know, I'm trying to save up for a new mic set. And if you want to support that, just keep buying me coffees and hopefully we'll get some better sound in the very, very near future. All right. Thank you so much in advance. And for those who have already donated, thank you so much. Okay, so the question of the day, will Rafa win again? Now, the question is, will he win? And the answer is always going to be yes, okay? Because I was one of those naysayers for the past, I want to say, 15 years, because he kind of struggles into the French sometimes. So I'm like, oh man, he's injured or he doesn't quite look like himself, at either of the tune-up tournaments beforehand, either Italy or wherever they're at before. And so I'm like, he's not quite peaking at the right time. Therefore, he doesn't win those tournaments or bows out pretty early. But I think that he and uncle there have kind of a plan for him. If he feels great, he'll take it to the finals and possibly win, which is kind of half the time or less. But if he decides that he ain't quite feeling it, he wants to actually concentrate more on the French, he'll just kind of bow out if he doesn't see the path as going his way, let's say. Therefore, it looks like he struggles in. So kind of like for 10 years prior to the past 2 years, I would always say, this is when he's going to lose. No, he's not getting this one. And every year I am wrong, like dead wrong. So it would be tough not to bet against Rafa at the French. He basically owns the French. I would predict he has at least 6 more Frenches that he can and will win in the next 6 years. And he will pretty much concentrate on that and pretty much, be one of the top players holding a lot of the top slam titles when he is done. So, and most of them will be Frenches. So it would be super hard to bet against Rafa. I mean, he just loves that surface. He grew up on it, and it's kind of home to him. It's his favorite. So I would definitely not bet against Rafa at the French Open. He will take the title. Now, on the women's side, it's a little interesting now because we have Naomi out and Ash at number 1. Serena's looking pretty good after round 1. My prediction for the women's is Iga Swiatek. She kind of has that all-around game, stays really calm. She's never rushed. She doesn't mind being out there and basically playing each point out. She's extremely smart. She has a very high IQ for that surface, and she knows how to work the point. I mean, if I could, if my daughter really wanted to play tennis, I would want her to be like her. It's kind of like an all-around game. Surfaces don't phase you. Players don't phase you. You just have a solid base and a solid head on your shoulders. So that's my prediction. Inga Swiatek. Now, I also have a question from a viewer, Noah Hemless. And I'm going to read that to you. Go ahead and pause it if you want. All right. Okay, so Noah wanted to talk a little bit about the media and Naomi Osaka there. Hi, Harry. I'm surprised how things turned up with Osaka earlier today. Would you share your thoughts on the situation? I don't know if something like this has ever happened before, but I think the outcome might be important for tennis future. Depression and other mental illness is no doubt a serious problem. But on the other hand, there is no chance for tennis to survive without press and fans. Players have to carry responsibilities for funds and sport. So I'm guessing that means money. Funds. I don't mean the press and the media is always right and good, but it is totally normal facing criticism and questions, let's say. If everybody can handle this, why the best athletes in the world can't? Maybe somebody just needs to descend from heaven to the ground. The best. It's Elia, it says, but it says this from Noah. So Elia. Okay, Elia. That's a great question, actually. So I understand that, as a top athlete, you're always scrutinized. People are always poking at you. The expectations are extremely high, not from just the fans, but from yourself, from your base too. They probably won't put the pressure on you, but you kind of know it's there. If you're, one of the best at what you do, I think the self-pressure is definitely the greatest and the hardest to overcome, because you look up at the world and the world expects a lot from you, and you kind of know that. Therefore, you put even more pressure on yourself, and if you do well, the questions come. Every little thing is scrutinized. I get that. And it's tough, especially in this day and age where everything seems to be out in the open. Back in my day, before internet, it was tough to kind of, know what you eat, right? Know who your boyfriend was or your girlfriend was, or, your favorite hangout spots, or what you do on a daily basis. Now it's pretty much free and open. So everything is seen. And I think Naomi is a shy person by nature, as you guys see out there. Therefore, it's tough for her to be kind of in that chair doing kind of public speaking. I know it's kind of strange because she can be at a center court with, 50,000 fans and perform for you without, being nervous or screwing up. But as soon as you put her into that chair, it kind of changes. So her comfort zone is obviously on the court. She goes into her bubble and she performs, kind of like, like a ballet dancer or an opera singer, or, a concert, solo artist, let's say. She's comfortable with that. But when in front of, let's say, the media, it's not comfortable for her. She's not comfortable answering questions about herself. And I get that. And And the thing about depression is it is a serious thing. I in my personal life have had to deal with that most of my childhood, as my mother has suffered from that most of her life. Therefore, I've seen it firsthand, and I've had to handle it and take care of it firsthand too. And it is serious. I mean, for those of you who've never seen it in your life, it's you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, then you do. It is not something to take lightly. People talk about it in the media all the time, but it's serious when you actually have to handle something like that. And I've had to handle it multiple times. It's not great. It's not great. It's one of those times in which you kind of question what's going on here, because it's really surreal. So I understand what Naomi's going through, and I understand why she has to pull out, because your mental state is extremely important, and when you're not feeling it, your whole body and your attitude definitely changes. So and you really can't concentrate on the task at hand. Sometimes you go off into a different world, and that world is very dark. So I get it. Naomi, you take care of you, and then you kind of sort things out, and you come back when you're ready. 'Cause you're the best. You're one of the best in the world, and gotta look out for yourself. Okay, so that's how I feel about the situation. We all kind of have to take care of ourselves and look out for ourselves, and take care of each other too. Okay, so my winner for this year's French Open, Nadal, Swiatek. Naomi, take care. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.